In Jujutsu Kaisen, there are strong sorcerers, there are dangerous sorcerers, and then there are those who break the entire power system. Special grade is not just a high rank, it is a status reserved only for those whose power goes beyond normal understanding. In the modern era of Jujutsu Kaisen, there have officially only been 4 of them, and what matters most is that each one represented a completely different kind of power. Today, we are breaking down all of them, the ones who no longer feel like sorcerers at all, but like true disasters. If there is one living symbol of special grade in Jujutsu Kaisen, it is, of course, Satoru Gojo. To the entire Jujutsu world, Gojo is not just a powerful sorcerer, but the very standard by which everyone else is measured. His birth alone changed the balance of power, and the combination of the 6 eyes and limitless made him the man the story treats as the strongest. Gojo's power is terrifying, not just because of its scale, but because of how it works. Infinity makes him almost impossible to touch. Blue and red let him control space through attraction and repulsion. Hollow purple literally erases everything in its path, and unlimited void overwhelms the enemy's mind with an endless stream of information. But the most important thing about Gojo is not just his techniques. His power is so overwhelming that the entire world of Jujutsu Kaisen is shaped either around him or against him. As long as Gojo is free, the balance holds. Once Gojo is sealed, the world begins to collapse. After Gojo, the most dangerous special grade sorcerer of the new generation is Yuta Okotsu. His power is terrifying, not just because of its scale, but because he has almost no real weaknesses. Yuta is not frightening because of one overwhelming technique, but because he can do too much at once. His bond with Rika gave him a monstrous amount of cursed energy, and his ability to copy techniques turned him into a sorcerer who can use other people's powers and adapt to almost any fight. That alone would already make him an anomaly, but what makes him even more dangerous is that Yuta can also use reverse cursed technique, which means he can not only destroy, but also heal, both himself and others. That is exactly why Yuta stands out as a new type of special grade, not like raw destructive force, but like a sorcerer with too many abilities in one body. He is versatile, he grows quickly, and with every new fight, he becomes even more dangerous. Yuki Tsukumo is one of the most underrated special grade sorcerers in the entire story. She does not appear as often as Gojo or Yuta, but her power and status are no accident. Yuki does not feel like part of the system. She feels like a challenge to the system itself. Her technique, Star Rage, makes her strikes incredibly heavy through virtual mass, and Garuda turns that power into an even more dangerous weapon. In battle, Yuki looks less like someone attacking an enemy and more like a force breaking through reality itself. But the most important thing about Yuki is not even that. Unlike most sorcerers, she does not want to keep exercising curses over and over again. What interests her is the root of the problem itself, the mechanism that creates curses in the human world. That is why Yuki matters, not only as a special grade, but as someone who sees beyond the entire Jujutsu system. Suguru Geto is a special grade who feels like a true disaster. His cursed spirit manipulation allows him to control and collect cursed spirits, which means Geto is not just one powerful sorcerer. He is someone who can literally build his own army, and that is exactly what makes him so terrifying. Gojo feels like an almost untouchable peak of power, but Geto is dangerous because his strength keeps expanding. The more cursed spirits he controls, the more terrifying the scale of the threat becomes. His maximum, Uzumaki, turns all of that accumulated power into a devastating attack. But what truly makes Geto terrifying is not just a single technique, it is the very idea of Geto himself, a sorcerer who can fight like an entire system. But Geto's power is not only in his technique. Once, he stood beside Gojo and fought on the same side, but in the end, the very world he tried to protect was what broke him. Gojo, Geto, Yuta, and Yuki are the official special grade sorcerers. But when the conversation turns to a level of power that stands above the entire ranking system, it is no longer enough to stop with them alone. Because in Jujutsu Kaisen, there is one name that has long come to mean more than any title. That name is Sukuna, cannot be called just another special grade sorcerer. That definition is already too small for what he is in the story. Yes, his power belongs to the special grade level. His fingers became special grade cursed objects, and his very name is tied to the highest category of threat. But in terms of presence, Sukuna has always stood apart from everyone else. Back in the Heian era, he was a monster the Jujutsu world could do nothing against. He was never seen as an ordinary human being. He could not be stopped. And even hundreds of years later, his return alone shatters the balance of the entire world once again. Sukuna is an ancient horror that has always seemed to stand above the system itself. So now I want to hear your take. Which of these characters felt the most terrifying to you? And who do you think truly stood above the system itself? Leave it in the comments, and subscribe if you want more deep Jujutsu Kaisen breakdowns like this.